World War II, a global conflict, extended its reach to the Middle East. This region held immense strategic value. Its vast oil reserves were crucial for fueling the war machines of both sides. Control of the Suez Canal, a vital waterway, was paramount. It provided a lifeline for the Allied forces. The Middle East became a battleground for control, resources, and ultimately, victory. The Axis powers, led by Germany and Italy, recognized the significance of the Middle East. They sought to capture the oil fields to fuel their war effort. Additionally, they aimed to disrupt Allied supply lines through the Suez Canal. The Allies, primarily Great Britain and its Commonwealth forces, fought fiercely to defend these strategic assets. Their goal was to secure the region and deny vital resources to their enemies. The struggle for the Middle East would become a pivotal chapter in World War II. The Mediterranean Sea and North Africa became a battleground for the clash between the Axis and Allied powers. Italy, a member of the Axis, had colonies in Libya. This strategic location posed a threat to British interests in Egypt and the Suez Canal. In 1940, as the war raged in Europe, Italy declared war on the Allies. Italian forces launched an offensive into British-controlled Egypt. The British, though initially caught off guard, responded swiftly. They deployed troops to North Africa. Their objective was to halt the Italian advance and secure the Suez Canal. The early stages of the campaign saw a series of back-and-forth battles. Both sides contended with the harsh desert conditions. The vast, unforgiving terrain posed unique challenges to warfare. Logistics, communication, and maneuverability were tested in this desolate environment. In 1941, the tide of the war in North Africa shifted dramatically. Germany, in support of its struggling Italian ally, dispatched General Erwin Rommel to North Africa. Rommel, known as the Desert Fox, was a brilliant military strategist. He was renowned for his audacity and unconventional tactics. His arrival marked a turning point in the campaign. Rommel's Afrika Korps, a highly trained and mobile force, wasted no time in making its presence felt. With a series of bold offensives, Rommel outmaneuvered and outfought the British forces. He pushed them back across the Libyan desert, inflicting heavy casualties. Rommel's victories earned him the respect of his enemies and the admiration of the German people. He became a symbol of Axis military prowess in the North African theater. The arrival of General Bernard Montgomery to lead the British 8th Army in August 1942 set the stage for one of history's most captivating military rivalries. Montgomery, known as a meticulous planner and a stern disciplinarian, provided a stark contrast to Rommel's more flamboyant and improvisational style. The clash of these two iconic generals would shape the course of the Desert War. Montgomery, nicknamed Monty by his troops, prioritized careful preparation and logistical organization. He understood that victory in the desert hinged on maintaining supply lines and ensuring his troops were adequately equipped. Rommel, on the other hand, thrived on risk-taking and exploiting enemy weaknesses. His ability to make swift decisions and execute daring maneuvers kept the Allies constantly on the defensive. In Section 5, Turning the Tide, the First and Second Battles of El Alamein. The small Egyptian town of El Alamein would become a pivotal battleground in the North African campaign. In July 1942, Rommel's advance towards Alexandria, Egypt, was halted at the First Battle of El Alamein. The British, under the command of General Claude Auchinleck, dug in and repelled repeated German attacks. The battle, though tactically inconclusive, marked the limit of Rommel's advance eastward. It provided a much-needed morale boost for the Allies. Montgomery, having taken command of the 8th Army, meticulously planned a counteroffensive. In late October 1942, he launched the Second Battle of El Alamein. The battle raged for 11 days and nights, involving massive tank clashes and relentless artillery bombardments. Montgomery's careful planning and superior logistics proved decisive. The British forces broke through the German lines, forcing Rommel into a retreat that would eventually see him driven from Africa. Section 6. Logistical Nightmares, Supplying the War in the Desert. The Desert War in North Africa presented unique logistical challenges for both the Axis and Allied forces. The vast distances, extreme temperatures, and lack of infrastructure made supplying the troops a constant struggle. Every gallon of fuel, every bullet, every ration had to be transported over hundreds of miles of treacherous desert tracks. The Allies, with their control of the Mediterranean Sea, held a logistical advantage. They could ship supplies from bases in Egypt and Malta. However, German and Italian submarines and aircraft constantly harassed Allied shipping lanes. This made maintaining a steady flow of supplies a precarious endeavor. The Axis forces faced even greater challenges. Their supply lines stretched across the Mediterranean, vulnerable to Allied attacks. The logistical battle often proved as crucial as the fighting on the front lines. Section 7. Deception and Surprise. Tactical Innovations in Desert Warfare. The unique challenges of desert warfare forced both sides to adapt their tactics and employ innovative strategies. Camouflage and deception became crucial. The wide-open spaces provided little natural cover. Tanks and troops dug into the sand, carefully camouflaging their positions to avoid detection from the air. The element of surprise was paramount. Rommel, a master of mobile warfare, utilized the speed and maneuverability of his tanks to great effect. He employed a tactic known as hooking, flanking enemy positions and attacking from unexpected directions. The British, initially caught off guard by Rommel's tactics, adapted by developing their own armored warfare doctrines. They emphasized combined arms operations, coordinating tanks, infantry and artillery to achieve battlefield superiority. Section 8. Air Power and the Siege of Malta, a struggle for control. The skies above the Mediterranean Sea and North Africa were another crucial battleground. Control of the air was vital for both sides. It provided reconnaissance, air support for ground troops, and the ability to disrupt enemy supply lines. The Luftwaffe, Germany's air force, initially dominated the skies, using a combination of fighters and bombers to support Rommel's advances. However, the Allies gradually gained air superiority. The British Royal Air Force and the American Army Air Forces deployed increasing numbers of aircraft to the theater. The island of Malta, strategically located in the central Mediterranean, played a pivotal role. Despite enduring a relentless siege by Axis forces, Malta served as a vital base for Allied aircraft. It disrupted Axis supply lines to North Africa. The air war in the Mediterranean was as fierce and relentless as the ground fighting. Section 9. The Human Cost, Casualties, Prisoners and the Price of War. The Desert War in North Africa exacted a heavy toll on both sides. Hundreds of thousands of soldiers were killed or wounded. The harsh conditions, lack of medical facilities and brutality of the fighting resulted in immense suffering. Prisoners of war faced deplorable conditions in overcrowded camps. They endured hunger, disease, and exposure to the elements. The civilian population also suffered greatly. Their homes and livelihoods were destroyed in the crossfire. The war disrupted agriculture and trade, leading to food shortages and economic hardship. The human cost of the Desert War served as a grim reminder of the devastating consequences of armed conflict. Section 10. Legacy of the Desert War. Impact on the war's outcome. The Desert War in North Africa, though often overshadowed by the fighting in Europe and the Pacific, had a significant impact on the course of World War II. The Allied victory in North Africa had several strategic consequences. First, it secured the Suez Canal, ensuring the flow of supplies and reinforcements to the Eastern Front. Second, it provided the Allies with a strategic foothold in the Mediterranean, opening up a new front against Axis forces in southern Europe. Third, it boosted Allied morale and demonstrated the ability to defeat the Axis powers on the battlefield. The Desert War also had a profound impact on the development of military tactics and technology. Section 11. Echoes in the Sand, Remembering the Middle Eastern Theater. The echoes of World War II still resonate in the deserts of North Africa. The remnants of battlefields, cemeteries, and memorials serve as poignant reminders of the sacrifices made and the horrors endured. The stories of the soldiers who fought and died in these unforgiving landscapes continue to inspire and captivate generations. The Desert War in North Africa stands as a testament to the human spirit's resilience and capacity for both great courage and terrible destruction. It is a chapter in history that must never be forgotten. The lessons learned from this conflict about the importance of leadership, logistics, adaptability, and the human cost of war remain relevant today.